This spot in Ohio is a perfect mix of history, art, nature, and an independent spirit. Spending the summer in central Ohio, the idea was to focus on some interesting local places. More than once, when asking for recommendations about cool little towns, Yellow Springs was mentioned. That's where I am today. Located between Columbus and Dayton, the village of Yellow Springs was founded in 1825 with the idea of becoming a utopian community. That historic beginning is reflected in the look and feel of the place today. The heart of the town is this charming and eclectic downtown area. It's filled with locally owned shops, art galleries, and cafes which provide all sorts of things to eat. There are shops like this.
This is Wildflower Boutique in Yellow Springs, Ohio. I run it. Our whole motto is wild, unique, empowered style, so it's women and children's clothing.
Those who live in the village seem to take a great deal of pride in the place they call home. There's plenty to like.
It's just kind of like a bright little sunshiny spot in the middle of Ohio is a good way of describing it, I guess. It hasn't changed too much since the 1970s, so that's kind of the draw. It's grown a lot in the past few years, so it's kind of a tourist attraction at this point, but people are definitely surprised because it's unlike anywhere else in Ohio, I think.
In a prominent spot on the main street is Ye Old Trail Tavern. Shortly after opening its doors for lunch on this day, a crowd had already filled the outside eating area, and the interior was ready for even more guests. The food looked and smelled amazing as it began arriving in front of eager diners. Meals here come with a side of history. The place bills itself as Ohio's oldest tavern, dating back to 1827. A rear portion of the tavern contains original construction made out of logs. There is art at seemingly every turn in Yellow Springs. It's very possible to see some being made. That was the case for me, just across from the tavern.
There's going to be a new business in here. They tore down an old business. They put up this wall and it was ugly. It was just particle board. So they asked me to paint something. So I'm painting my honeymoon image, where last year I was in Japan. This kind of wall, it's very long and narrow, so it works well for a beach scene.
Yellow Springs is the kind of place where temporary art is commissioned just to add beauty.
It's pretty cool. Yellow Springs is very diverse, has a lot of history, and it loves art, so I'm glad to be here.
This village is also the type of place where the sidewalk can be home to a game of chess. How cool is it that you can just do this right on the street here in Yellow Springs?
I think it's ice cool. Very cool.
The curb appeal of Yellow Springs is amazing, and whether it's a person's first visit or they are here all the time, they can find their place.
This is like my first time here in maybe 2 or 3 years, but it's always a treat whenever I can come and visit.
It's fair to say that Yellow Springs is a progressive place. That was quite apparent, as it was Independence Day when I visited, and the annual parade provided a glimpse of the makeup of the village. The mayor led the way, both physically and philosophically, praising the way that the parade embodied the spirit of her town.
We can show our visitors what a wonderful place Yellow Springs is. It is truly a gem of a community here in Southwest Ohio. Indeed, a blue dot in a red sea, and we all love it that way.
This is a village where anyone can be themselves.
The attitude is come here and do your own thing. Something for everybody, truly.
As the parade rolled by, there were plenty of indications of how different this village is when compared to most others. There were also, however, reminders that a 4th of July parade is a display of Americana at its best. And at times, just to have fun. The parade drew a crowd and put a smile on almost every face.
It's a perfect parade, perfect scene, perfect weather. The day is representative of Yellow Springs as a whole, just the beauty that surrounds us in nature.
Even on the sidelines, though, the celebration of independence was much more than just recognizing the outcome of a war almost 2.5 centuries ago.
I mean, in a day like this, it's like celebration of tolerance. People from all walks of life coming together and getting together to celebrate.
Following the parade, many went back to enjoying the village for what it is. That progressive attitude which exists is rooted in the past. Yellow Springs served as an abolitionist stronghold in the mid-1800s. Many residents were active supporters of the Underground Railroad, helping provide safe passage to freedom for enslaved individuals. It's that commitment to social justice and equality which remains a fundamental aspect of the town's identity in present day. A short distance from downtown is Antioch College, a site which serves to enhance Yellow Springs' reputation as a welcoming community. It was established in 1852 with education reformer Horace Mann as its first president. It was the fourth institute of higher education in the country to admit African American students on an equal basis with whites. It has attracted students such as Coretta Scott King and Rod Serling, who both attended during the early 1950s. There have been financial ups and downs over the years, but the college continues to provide educational opportunities for its students. Social activism remains a cornerstone of the experience here and is summed up by the motto, "Be ashamed to die until you have won some victory for humanity." A short distance out of downtown is Young's Jersey Dairy. A family-owned operation, Young's has been in existence since 1869. What began as a small farm has grown into a destination with all sorts of delicious treats and fun activities. The highlight of a visit is a scoop or cone of the ice cream which is made on site. Its popularity is apparent, but the line moves quickly, and soon customers are relishing everything from classic flavors to more exotic concoctions.
Oh, it's delicious. It tastes really fresh, which is great. I like it. I like that you can see the animals too. It's kind of fun.
The animals are pretty cool. There's a petting area, and the resident goats are always ready to accept a handout. Young's is famous for its Jersey cows, which are known for producing high-quality milk. Visitors can meet them face to face.
The place is very nice. It's very good for kids to play, lot of fun, and it's nice everywhere.
One way to get outside when in Yellow Springs is on the Little Miami Bike Trail. It's perfect for biking, walking, and running through town and to destinations beyond.
This is where I began the day, out in nature. Clifton Gorge, and then here, which has the feature that gives Yellow Springs its name. It's not too hot, very humid though, and by 10 o'clock, I'm soaked.
The initial stop was at the Clifton Gorge State Nature Preserve. Walking through the wilderness as the early morning sun filtered through the trees was a pure delight. From my trailhead, it was no time at all until I heard the roar of the Little Miami River. It's a state and national scenic river. Just beneath the trail, the river is squeezed through a section where the rock has yielded just a small opening for its passage. This is appropriately called the Narrows. The 248-acre site packs a lot into a relatively small space. Visitors can descend deeper into the gorge, which was created as glaciers advanced and retreated.
It's beautiful.
This is my first time. She's been here just one time.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Obviously the river's high, and so we're going to go down and take the gorge trail and see what we can see while we're down there. And we're both wildlife people, so we'll see what we can find.
Next, it was off to the Glen Nature Preserve. There are more than 1,000 acres in this preserve, which is operated by a nonprofit agency. Parking at the trailhead is $10 per car. Miles of trail exist here, past wetlands and beaver dams, through forest, and past waterfalls. Of particular note is this spring, which provided the name for the town of Yellow Springs.
I think this is the Yellow Spring.
What do you think?
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It looks like we've got a little waterfall with some sort of mineral deposit. I don't know what that is that's making it orange.
She is right. The mineral-rich water contains iron, which over time has essentially created a rust coating on the rock, which has a yellow-orange coloring. Those who are adventurous enough can drink from the springs. On around the Inman Trail, another cool spot is the Cascades. It's only 10 feet high, but after recent rain, it was rolling on my visit. It can be viewed from below, and there is also a bridge built right atop where the water drops for a different perspective. Glen Helen Nature Preserve is absolutely worth a stop.
It's amazing. I think this is the perfect day to be out here. The water's kind of high and it's like moist, but it's not too hot. So I feel pretty good about being out here today.
That's my look at the village of Yellow Springs. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you were inspired to visit. It's almost 2 months now until my world travel begins. My first trip starts in September and runs until late January. I'll be visiting Ireland, Sofia, Bulgaria, Vlora, Albania, Athens, Greece, and Tunis, Tunisia. I certainly hope you follow along. So a quick postscript to this story. I wanted to end at one of the brew pubs that was located in Yellow Springs. July 4th, all of them were closed. So we come here to Hilliard. We're going to end the day at Crooked Can Brewing. Hilliard was on the drive back to Columbus from Yellow Springs, and Crooked Can was situated in a pedestrian-friendly part of town. The beer was cold and tasty. This is always one of my favorite ways to end the day, and particularly satisfying for a day full of new discoveries. See you next time.